Hello, it's Wednesday, August the 11th, and we have been parked in these magnificent chapters, 46, 47, and 48 for the last 3 weeks. And today we're in chapter 48 and verses 9, 10, and 11. Let's recap a little. Yesterday we saw God giving to his people a promise that better days were ahead of them, days following the exile, days when they would return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple and rebuild the city walls, and ultimately looking at the emergence of the fullness of the New Testament for sure, and ultimately the new heavens and new earth. But all of that they would have to believe. He wasn't going to give them details. They would have to believe it by faith. But now in verses 9, 10, and 11, he returns to the reason why before the good days there were days of trial, days of Babylonian exile. And he uses the metaphor of refining. I have tried you, verse 10, in the furnace of affliction. In order to purify the metal, you have to heat it thousands of degrees so that the impurities will rise to the surface and can be scraped off to leave something that's pure behind. And it's a little glimpse of the reason for trials and suffering. I came across this hymn, although it's more a poem than a hymn, of John Newton's many years ago, and it's been of great help to me, that speaks of the losses and crosses that mark the Christian life. I asked the Lord that I might grow in faith and love and every grace, might more of his salvation know and seek more earnestly his face. 'Twas he who taught me thus to pray, and he, I trust, has answered prayer, but it has been in such a way as almost drove me to despair. I hoped that in some favored hour at once he'd answer my request, and by his love's constraining power subdue my sins and give me rest. Instead of this, he made me feel the hidden evils of my heart, and let the angry powers of hell assault my soul in every part. Yea, more, with his own hand he seemed intent to aggravate my woe, crossed all the fair designs I schemed, blasted my gourds and laid me low. Lord, why is this? I trembling cried. Wilt thou pursue thy worm to death? 'Tis in this way, the Lord replied, I answer prayer for grace and faith. These inward trials I employ, from self and pride, to set thee free and break thy schemes of earthly joy, that thou mayest find thine all in me. And that's a beautiful poem written by John Newton, and it expresses exactly what the prophet Isaiah is saying here in chapter 48 and verses 9 through 11. Sometimes he puts us through the refiner's fire. Well, that's it for today. We'll have one more look at chapter 48 tomorrow, but in the meantime, have a wonderful day.